We'll move on to item B of unfinished business, and that's review of Steinhoff property plans and approval of annexation to the city of Toma. And I guess Mr. Gorder will have a few comments on that.
I'm going to rotate this so hopefully it makes sense as I look at it. Okay, if you're looking at the Steinhoff property, looking from the north to the south, this is County Highway ET, and you have the subdivision on the west side and the subdivision on the east side of the property, and also some on the north side of the property. And you know, part of the emphasis is it's just to make certain, and we did get a few phone calls at the district office regarding, you know, reminding us of what the primary purpose of that property was, and some concern about whether or not that we had taken into consideration that site plan as if we had to add if we ever needed to add an elementary school to that building, which we were all well aware of. We talked about that at the board meeting. So what I did is I talked to TCI, who's done a lot of work for the district with actually built the LaGrange Elementary School. I had them take a look at the site proposal, the site itself, and just give us conceptually. This doesn't mean that we're going to build an elementary school at any time. Doesn't mean this is the elementary school we're going to build. All it means is that this is a 700 student elementary school, and that within the site that we're showing up here, where the location of the soccer fields are, that really basically showing the board in the community, there still is room to put in a elementary school if we need to do that. So wanted to just follow, you know, through that a little bit. And of course, it could be an L-shaped, it could be a T-shape. You know, if we needed to take up some of the space here with one of the soccer fields or two of the soccer fields, we're all under the assumption, and we know when we approved that at some point in time this property was purchased for a potential elementary school down the road. We don't see that coming in the near future, but we do have a need for the green space. So that's what you approved at the last board meeting, and just kind of going back and talking about that. And again, most of what we're talking about here is just that. I would also pull that back up here a quick minute as we're looking at this. If you look at I think there's another one I would rather look at.
That's just the letter.
That's just the letter. If we look at this site here too, you learn something. This whole property, and this kind of ties into, I guess, around the annexation here. Property has not been annexed by the city into the city of Toma yet. And you know, as we're looking at this, you find out a lot of different things, and that's one of the things that we found out. So it's basically an island on itself. So what we needed to do, because there was some concern over in this corner approximately, where this is a drainage pond basically right here, that regarding some runoff here, and that we needed to make sure that we had some plans to contain all the water on the site, to make sure that got into the drainage pond before we did any building on it. Well, green space isn't building, so we're okay to approve it without the building, but if we want to build anything on there or get water to this, it needs to be annexed into the city of Toma. So we you know, went through the process. We ensured that the site plan is going to get the water into the drainage ditch, but what we have left to do now, we know we're going to need some water into the area where we're getting trying to get the grass to grow in the green space, so we'll need to have that area annexed into the city of Toma. So we're asking for you to approve the district moving forward with that annexation into the city of Toma tonight. We assume it's going to be somewhat of a process, so we want to get started on that. So when it's completed in July, that at that point in time, that we will have water or shortly thereafter water on that property to make sure that the grass is growing. In the past, they've allowed us to hook up the fire hydrants, but because of some changes to the laws and regulations, we're not able to do that anymore. We did talk to, just to alleviate any concerns that we might have had, we did talk with Public Works and got a letter for them that as we move forward in the future, that the city of Tacoma has seen these plans and at this point in time feel comfortable with what we're doing there. So hopefully we won't have any issues moving forward when that property finally gets annexed into the city of Tacoma, or we actually do any building there, which again is not even on the board at this time.
Maybe I missed it. So it's in a township, right?
Town of Tacoma. Yeah.
And you said it's an island?
It's an island. If I go back to the...
Everything else is annexed. Everything else is annexed.
All the residential around there is in the city of Tacoma.
Yeah, except that.
And there's one lot actually right here that is also not in the city of Tacoma either, but we will be moving in the, if we go forward with this proposal, this could get annexed in.
I will make a motion to approve the annexation of the Steinhoff property to the city of Tacoma.
Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second to approve annexation of the Steinhoff property into the city of Tacoma. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Gardner, does that involve, I mean, we essentially by approving this, we're approaching the city. They have to.
Yeah, we're not approving the annexation, and I was going to make that, we
So
should move forward with the annexation.
Okay, move forward.
So the motion would be to move forward to propose.
To the city of Tacoma annexation of
Okay.
this property.
Sorry. So with that clarification, is there any other discussion? I know that. Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the proposal to go forward requesting annexation of the Steinhoff property into the city of Tacoma. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries, and so...
Gary was the second.
Thank you.
And so then, Mr. Gordy, you'll be setting that into motion, I guess?
Yep, we'll get the wheels moving on that. In order for it to get annexed, we have to have potentially have the site surveyed, and then have the school attorney get the papers ready to go to bring that to I would assume this city zoning and planning, and then move it through their process at the city level.
Okay. Thank you. That finishes the unfinished